Welcome traveler, today we are diving deep into the story and lore of Hollow Knight. At first glance, it's an action player platformer about a tiny bug exploring a ruined kingdom, but beneath its dark tunnel and boss fight lies one of the most mysterious and emotional studios in indie gaming. Problem is that the game doesn't tell the story directly. There are no big cutscenes, no long dialogue spelling out. Instead, the lore is hidden in the fragments, cryptic NPC lines, strange carving on the walls, dream sequence, and environment itself. That means every player uncovers the story differently, and many details can be easy to miss. So in this video, we are going to piece everything together step by step. We will explore the history of the Fallen Kingdom of the Hallownest, learn about strange infection, uncover the Pale King's deepest plan, and discover who the knight really is. We'll also look at the many characters we meet along the way. And finally, we will talk about the ending and what they mean. This will be a journey through the mystery, tragedy, and sacrifice. And by the end, hopefully, you will see Hollow Knight in a whole new light. Our story begins with Hallownest, a nice great underground kingdom. Long before events of the game, Hallownest was thriving, imagining vast cities lit by glowing mushrooms, temples carved into stones, and endless maze of the tunnel filled with the life. At the center of it all stood the Pale King, a higher being who ruled over Hallownest. He wasn't just a king, he was almost like a god to the bugs. Under his rule, simple insects became intelligent. They built society, took on roles as knights, guards, scholars, and even ordinary townsfolk. Hallownest was known as the great kingdom beneath the soil, drawing bugs from other lands to live under its protection. But when we start the game, Hallownest had already fallen. Its cities are abandoned, its temple is in ruin, and its cities are either dead or consumed by madness. What we see is not a living kingdom, but the hollow shell of a graveyard of glory long past. This is mystery that pulls us in whatever happened to Hallownest. Why did this mighty kingdom collapse, and why is this strange infection spreading through its husk? The downfall of the Hallownest can be traced to one thing: the infection. When we travel to the kingdom, we often see enemies with glowing orange eyes, twitching bodies, and broken movements. These are bugs who have been infected. But the infection is more than just a disease. It's a force of mind and memory. It's attacking the will of victims, filling them with madness or driving them into violent rage. Deeper you go in the Hallownest, the more you see it slipping out, spreading like the fire, impossible to contain. True source of the infection is being called Radiance. Long before the Pale King arrived, Radiance was worshipped by moths and other bugs as a higher power, a kind of the god of light. But when the Pale King came, most bugs turned away from her. They pledged themselves to the Pale King, abandoning the old faith. Radiance didn't disappear. She lingered, buried deep in the dream realm, filled with anger and jealousy. And from there, she sought vengeance. Through dreams, she forced herself into the minds of bugs, corrupting them and spreading her infection across the kingdom. So the Pale King faced a terrible problem. An old god could not kill, poisoning the very minds of his people. Pale King was clever and powerful, but even he couldn't destroy the Radiance outright. So he came up with another plan. If the Radiance existed inside the mind, then he would need something that could contain her, a living person. To make this prison, the Pale King created the vessel. These were not ordinary bugs. The vessels were born in the abyss, a deep dark place at the very bottom of the Hallownest. Their countless forms were shaped, each one born of void and given shell and bone. They had no real mind, no feeling, no voice. In other words, they were meant to be hollow. The idea was simple. being whose mind could trap the radiance with her itself. No toes for her to control, no will for her to infect, just an empty cage. Among all these vessels, one was chosen as the poorest, the most suitable one. This vessel was known as the Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight was raised, trained, and eventually sealed inside the Black Egg Temple, with 3 dreamers placed as the guardians. Hollow Knight was meant to contain the radiance forever. For a time, Kingdom believed it had worked. The Pale-Canned people went back to their lives, and Hallownest continued. But the solution wasn't perfect. Over the years, cracks appeared in the seal, radiance began to stir again, her infected spreading across the kingdom. The truth was, the Hollow Knight wasn't truly hollow. A faint connection remained, perhaps love, or memory. And that tiny flaw get the radiance away back in. This was the beginning of the Hallownest's final collapse. And this is where our journey begins. Character we play, the Hollow Knight, is another vessel. Like the Hollow Knight, the Knight was born in the abyss. But unlike the Hollow Knight, the Knight was cast aside, one of the countless discarded vessels left in the shadows. Yet somehow the Knight survived. At the start of the game, we see the Knight traveling from the outside world into Hallownest, drawn by some unknown pull, silent, small, and seemingly fragile. Knight carries only a nail, the game version of that sword. But as we play, we realize the Knight is more than just another vessel. Piece by piece, the game reveals the truth. The Knight has a role to play in finishing what the Hollow Knight could not. Infection was growing stronger, and the Hollow Knight can no longer contain it. The Knight must step forward and either take its place or find another way. It sets the stage for everything we do in the game. Exploring the ruins just isn't about unlocking new areas. It's about uncovering the Knight identity, the kingdom past, and the path toward a final decision. One of the biggest turning points in the story comes when the Knight acquires the Dream Nail. This strange weapon allows us to cut through the barrier between walking and dreaming, revealing hidden truths. With it, we can hear the secret thoughts of characters, enter dream worlds, and even challenge powerful spirits. Dream Nails also teach us more about the Radiance, since she exists within the Dream Realm. Without it, the Knight would never be able to reach her. But before the Knight can face the Radiance, there is another task, the Dreamers. When the Pale King sealed the Hollow Knight inside the Black Egg Temple, he placed 3 guardians into deep slumber, known as the Dreamers. Their only purpose was to keep the seal intact. These Dreamers are Momon the Teacher, Lurian the Watcher, and Herian the Beast. Each represent a part of Hallownest, wisdom, vigilance, and strength. To break the seal and reach the Hollow Knight, the Knight must confront each Dreamer in their rest place and release them. This part of the story is especially tragic. Dreamers choose eternal sleep for the sake of the kingdom, and freeing them means ending their sacrifice. Yet without it, Hallownest will never be free from the infection. One of the reasons Hollow Knight feels so alive, even in the ruin, is the character we meet. Each of them has their own story, sometimes hopeful, but often heartbreaking. Hornet, for example, is one of the most important. She's a warrior who appears several times, testing us in the battle. Later we learn she's a daughter of the Herald the Beast and the Pale King. That makes her the Knight half-sibling, and also sibling to the Hollow Knight. She carries the weight of the protecting Hallownest, even as she watches it fall apart. Then there is Aquirrell, a wanderer with no memory of his past. Over time, we discover he once served Mountain the Teacher, and his forgotten mission ties directly to the kingdom downfall. Zod the Mighty is comical character at first, a blaster fool who can who calls himself a great warrior, but if you dig deeper, even though they represent the themes of the weakness and failure that runs through the game. Denying the circled Tiso, each character has a patch that often ends in tragedy. In Hallownest, there are no perfect happy endings. Every story is a reminder of the kingdom collapse and the sacrifice left behind. Through them, we see the Hollow Knight isn't just about the kingdom journey. It's about the countless lives touched by infection, each one fragment of the larger whole. When the knight finally confronts the Hollow Knight in the Black Egg Temple, everything's come to a head. The battle is both a fight and a story. The Hollow Knight, once chosen to save the kingdom, is now broken, striking against the radiance within. In moments of the weakness, it's even stabbed itself and is beginning to be freed. Depending on what the player has done, there are multiple endings. In the standard ending, the knight defeats the Hollow Knight and becomes new vessel, sealing away the radiance but trapping itself in the cycle. In another ending, if the Knight gains the Void Heart and faces the radiance directly, the cycle is finally broken. With help from the Void itself, the Knight defeats the Radiance once and for all. Each ending carries the same weight: sacrifice. The Knight fate is either away, but its action determines whatever the kingdom stays trapped or finally moves on. Hollow Knight doesn't hunt as a perfect solution. Instead, it leaves us with the feeling of tragedy completed, and the faint hope that something better might grow from the ruins. In the end, Hollow Knight is more than a game about exploring dark tunnel and fighting bosses. It's a story about memory, sacrifice, and the cost of the mistake. It's about kingdom that tries to outsmart a god and failed, and about the quiet little vessel that takes on the impossible task of finishing what others could not. Every time you play, you uncover new pieces of the puzzle, and with the Silksong on the horizon, we might soon see the Hornet journey connected to all of this.